You know, when you hear the word Mali, it brings to mind these incredible images, right? Legendary empires, Timbuktu, a land just soaked in history and culture. For centuries, it was this shining example of how all sorts of different people could live together. But today, well, the headlines tell a totally different story, one of conflict, instability, and crisis. And this crisis, as we're about to see, is way deeper and more complex than most of us realize.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How did a nation that was built on such a strong, intricate social fabric find itself, well, coming apart at the seams? That's the paradox we're going to unpack. And to do it, we're not going to look at what outsiders think. Instead, we're going to look at a kind of self-portrait drawn from the words of thousands of Malians themselves.
So to really get why Mali's social fabric is fraying, first we have to appreciate just how strong that original weave really was.
I mean, think about this. For over 1,000 years, the land we now call Mali was the absolute heart of these vast, sophisticated empires. You had the Ghana Empire, the legendary Mali Empire of Mansa Musa, the Great Songhai Empire. And these weren't just random territories. They were complex states that really mastered the art of governing all kinds of different people across huge areas.
And the diversity here, it's just staggering. Mali is a mosaic of over 20 ethnic groups, but, and this is the key, for most of its history, this wasn't a source of division. No, it was a source of cultural wealth, of strength. Different groups, different languages, different traditions, all of it was woven together.
And you know, it's the same story with religion. While it's overwhelmingly Muslim, Mali has this deep-rooted history of religious tolerance. One person who was interviewed put it so beautifully. He said, "Here, religions respect one another. We are brothers and sisters. We are descendants of the same ancestors, and we can only respect and love each other." This wasn't just some nice idea. It was how people actually lived.
Okay, so what was the secret? How in the world did they keep this cohesion going for so long? Well, it wasn't magic. It was a set of really unique and powerful social technologies that basically formed a strong social contract.
Take this concept, Sinanguya. It is an incredible social tool. Think of it like a joking relationship between different ethnic groups. It basically gives people from different communities a license to tease each other, to critique, and even to step in and mediate disputes. And it all happens within this framework of kinship and humor. It's like a tension release valve built right into the culture itself. Pretty amazing. And this just shows you how deep these values run. This quote isn't from some modern UN declaration. It's from the Kourakan Fuga, which was an oral constitution, a set of laws passed down for generations, established in the Mali Empire nearly 800 years ago. It is one of the oldest constitutions in the entire world, and it enshrined these principles of human rights, respect, and social responsibility.
But that incredibly strong foundation is now under threat. According to the Malians themselves, that beautiful social fabric, held together for centuries by these ancient values, is now unraveling.
Okay, so this is the crucial point. When Malians were asked about what's standing in the way of peace, they didn't just point fingers at rebels or politicians. They pointed inward. They described this profound breakdown in the very institutions that are supposed to pass values from one generation to the next.
And it all starts with the most fundamental unit there is, the family. The traditional extended family, where a child was basically raised by an entire community, that's being replaced by the nuclear family. And with that shift, you get rising individualism, a loss of respect for elders, and this fragmentation of the social safety net that was once so strong.
I mean, you can just feel the sense of loss in this elder's voice. The idea that the child belonged to all, that was the bedrock of their whole community. It meant shared responsibility. And that shared sense of duty, he says, is just disappearing.
But hey, this isn't just the older generation blaming the youth. Not at all. Young people feel this crisis just as sharply. This young person kind of fires back, right? Essentially saying, don't blame us. You're the parents who raised us. If we're lost, it's because you stopped guiding us. It shows you this really painful breakdown in the contract between generations.
And look, this isn't just some abstract debate happening. All across the country, in communities just like this one, people are gathering, and they're talking about this deep worry. They can see that the core engines of their society, family, community, school, are all starting to sputter.
So you see, it's like a chain reaction. The extended family weakens. Then community traditions that used to bring young people together, things like age-set groups, they start to erode. And finally, the formal education system, well, it's failing to fill that gap. Many Malians feel like it just doesn't teach the essential civic and moral values you need to be a good citizen anymore. So when you see it this way, through their eyes, it forces you to completely reframe what the path to peace in Mali actually looks like. It's about so much more than what we see on the news.
And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of the matter. You can't fix this with a peace treaty alone. You can't solve a crisis of values with soldiers. For Malians, the real path to a lasting peace isn't political or military. It's a societal project. The huge, difficult, and absolutely essential challenge of mending and reweaving their own social fabric.
And that leaves us with this really powerful and honestly unsettling question. It gets to the very soul of Mali's struggle. And maybe it's a challenge a lot of societies are facing today. If the threads that connect one generation to the next are broken, what holds the tapestry of a nation together?